Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and you need to get a life. To be fair, so do I. That is according to the guy who invented the cell phone. Now, I thought this would be a fun way to end the week, and here's what's going on. The inventor of the world's very first cellular phone said that he was stunned by how much time people are now wasting on their devices, basically telling all of us to get a life. Now, we're talking about Martin Cooper, now age 92, and he said this in an interview with BBC Breakfast this past Thursday, responding to a co-host who claimed that she basically spent up to 5 hours a day on her cell phone. Quote, Mr. Cooper, do you really? You really spend 5 hours a day? Get a life! And then he burst into laughter. I love this guy. Now, Cooper wanted basically, back in the day, each person to have their own phone number, which he now calls his greatest accomplishment. Until that time, phone numbers were associated with places like a home, in your car just a little bit, and also your desk at the office. Motorola, who he worked for, subsequently poured millions of dollars into this project, and it basically took Cooper and his team 3 months to make the cell phone, given that they had similar technology previously put together in police radios. Motorola is one of the oldest radio maker companies on the world, based here in Chicago, and it is quite fascinating to see their evolution. Now, once the device was completed, it was named the Motorola Dynatac 8000X. It weighed 2.5 pounds and was 10 inches long. This is the very first cell phone ever. It lasted just 25 minutes before the battery ran out, and it took 10 hours to recharge. But he got us over that hill. And I think in probably one of the most baller moves ever, and I love this story, I've loved it for years. On April 3rd, 1973, Cooper made the very first ever cell phone call using the device, and he called his competitor over at AT&T, Joe Engel, to let him know he won. Now, the event took place outdoors in front of reporters in Midtown Manhattan. Cooper dialed Engel's line and said, quote, and I quote, Joel, this is Marty. I'm calling you from a cell phone, a real handheld portable cell phone. And the reporters watched in amazement. That is pretty cool. Now, the phone didn't hit the market basically until about a decade or so, and it was finally released to the public in 1983 as a mass consumer product, and it cost $4,000 in 1983 money, which I think is something like 8 or 10 grand now. So that is a very expensive cell phone. But he's absolutely right. We spend, myself included, way too much time on our cell phones. Basically, you're listening to me or watching me probably on your cell phone, most likely. Some of you on the computer, I'm sure. But all of you are probably doing that, or most of you are, and we spend a ton of time checking Facebook updates, LinkedIn statuses, etc., etc., etc. I think it's time to put it down. I think it's time for all of us to get a life. And there you go. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter, where you're going to have to use your mobile phone because, quite frankly, we don't have lives. And same with YouTube, where you should subscribe to me because we all don't have lives, according to Martin Cooper. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everyone.